Well, no doubt you've heard the term jet stream, but do you actually know what it is and what it affects? Meteorologist Christian Morgan has the answer in today's Weather IQ.
Well, the jet stream, it's something that we talk about all the time in our forecast. You probably heard us talk about it. We talk about it in the winter and in the summer too. It's one of the main drivers of weather, and it can bring warm weather or cold weather. But what is it and how does it work? Let's raise your weather IQ. Well, when you hear of the jet stream, you may think of a jet plane, and chances are you've probably heard about it when flying. We'll get back to that in a minute, but first and foremost, let's talk about the jet stream. It's a current of fast winds, strong winds, high in the atmosphere that reaches across the globe, and it has big impacts on our weather here at home, no matter how it's moving. It's mainly driven by a difference in temperature, and temperatures change with our latitude. So let's talk about the equator specifically. The equator is hotter because the sun's rays hit the equator at a more direct angle. That's why it's warm at the equator and colder at the north and south poles. Jet streams typically form where warm air and cold air come together, and the wind in a jet stream usually blows around 110 miles per hour, but it can pick up to over 250 miles per hour, which usually happens in the winter. That's when the temperature difference between the equators and the poles is the largest. Now, the jet stream typically flows from west to east, but when there's a shift and it blows north to south, we call those peaks and valleys ridges and troughs. You've probably heard us mention those before too. And typically when we have a ridge of high pressure setting up over us, we're dry and warm for a while. Now, the jet stream helps to steer low pressure systems too, but if a weather system is far away from us or the jet stream is weak, then we typically get prolonged periods of the same kind of weather that persists for several days. All right, well, now that you know the science behind the jet stream, let's get back to that airplane thing. If you've ever flown before, you've probably heard someone say, yeah, your flight back home is going to be quicker with that jet stream or that tailwind. Yeah, they're talking about this jet stream. Jets typically fly between 5 to 10 miles above the ground. This helps them to avoid turbulence and increases the fuel efficiency. But if your plane is flying in the jet, going with it, you're going to make great time, even making it to your destination early. But if you're flying against the jet, you may even be late. So the next time you're flying, maybe ask the pilot, hey, what's the jet stream looking like? You may even impress them with your knowledge. With your weather IQ, I'm meteorologist Christian Morgan.